Here's the second story. I was involved in a romantic, just a typical male-female or romantic relationship for about 5 to 6 years, and we broke up. And the grieving process was extremely difficult for me. This was about something like 10 to 12, 13 years ago. And so from where I stand now, and I look back on the entirety of my adult life, that breakup was the most difficult for me. I had been in one relationship that was longer, more than double the length. But this one that went for 5, 6 years, the breakup was much more difficult. And I was struggling. I was just grieving. And part of the struggle was that when we broke up, for some reason I thought we would be friends. But she seemed to have no desire to be friends. She seemed to have no desire to keep anything between us. And I was like, what about all the love that we had? Is it just all gone? And I don't think I asked that, but that's how I thought. That's what I thought. And I tried. I kept trying to reach out and trying to sort of keep something, some tiny thread of connection with her, but she just seemed to have no interest. She was just completely done. And it's not like I cheated or something or beat her up or was abusive. You just, just, I mean, what? Well, anyway, the background isn't that important, but maybe it is. It's kind of a complicated backstory. I don't really want to get into it too much, but I didn't do the typical like big things that would cause most women to be like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Looking back, I think it was just very painful for her. But here I was struggling because I was holding on to some like something, some remnant of the love that I felt that we had had. I think about 2 years into this grieving process of being unable to let go, I was probably listening to Pandora. That's what I listened to at the time, and on came a song by Death Cab for Cutie, and I don't remember the name of the song right now off the top of my head, but the chorus of the song goes something like, "No, you can't find nothing at all if there was nothing there all along. No, you can't find nothing at all if there was nothing there. Oh, if there was nothing there all along." I think that's the lyrics. I hope I'm not botching the lyrics, but when I like the song, and uh, and when I heard those lyrics, it was similar to what happened in the first story. Actually, kind of not similar, because the very first time I heard those lyrics, there was a part of me that was like, I don't want to hear that. In other words, I recognized how it stung, and I was like, I don't want to hear that. But since I liked the song so much, I tracked it down, I think on YouTube or maybe Pandora, whatever, and I listened to it a number of times. And at some point, I allowed the words to enter. And I was like, you know what? That's probably what it is. But here I am looking for some vestige, some remnant of this love that I thought we had had in the 5 to 6 years of being a couple. And but maybe I can't find anything there because maybe that wasn't there to begin with. And I began to reformulate our relationship in my mind. That the whole time I had felt that there was this deep love, and even if the relationship crumbled, the love would continue. But suddenly I began to think of it more as like what we had was a what we call romantic love or romantic sexualized love. But there wasn't the thread of love, like genuine care for one another to where we're willing to sacrifice our well-being to support the other, or sacrifice our own feelings, our petty feelings or whatever, to support the other. And I sort of began seeing the relationship as well. We had the romantic sexual, what the Greeks could refer to as eros, romantic love, but we didn't have philia, the sort of human love, or what some might call platonic love. And and it just kind of allowed me to see that the reason why I was hanging on so tight and I couldn't let go is because I was, again, grasping at something that wasn't there. But the whole time I was convinced that it had to be there. It was there, it was there. And very similar to the first one, when the song pointed out that, wait, maybe the thing that I'm looking for was never there even when we were together. And that had been my sort of false, fallacious reasoning that was keeping me stuck. And then at that point, slowly it became easy for me to let go. And so I think after about 2.5 years, it was like, oh, I guess it's done, or I'm done. So very similar to the first one, that in both cases, there's a struggle on some level. The quality of struggle is different, but there's this element of wanting to let go, but hesitation or feeling incapable of. And the whole time, I was actually not holding on to anything. In both cases, I had had a misconception that there was something in my grasp. But the reason why I couldn't let go is because there's actually nothing for me to let go, which is quite odd, very sad in some ways, but kind of beautiful in another way, right? That many times as human beings, we can be grasping at something and stuck in the grasping, and we're stuck because there's nothing there that we're actually holding on to. And when we have the recognition that there's actually nothing there, it's not that we decide then to let go, but the decision to let go has already occurred in the recognition that there's nothing there. Anyway, that's the second story.